Right, you ugly bunch. Sorry, it's been a couple of weeks since I've filmed anything or done anything, really. I've just been sorting everything out and getting everything in place. Like that. That's Lola. That's probably never going to see the road again. But I keep telling myself I'm going to do it because it's my first car and I've grown quite the attachment to it. But I've also pretty much brought everything up now. My projects are here at least, like that one. And I've also got my van. This is me T4. I've had this for some fair time now. Move that out of the way so we can get a good look at her. There's a little bit of bumper damage. That may have happened when we were loading it off the trailer, but we don't need to talk about that. It had, well, it still has for now, the old 19 TD, but it blew up. So I'm going to replace it with a 19 PD. Pretty much, I bought that car for less than what a reconditioned engine would cost me, and they're 68 horsepower. And that's no good for a van. So I bought the Bora, and it runs like an absolute dream. But if you can't tell, it's been sat under a tree for a while. Just a little while, you know. So that's the plan for them, and I'll be getting on with them shortly. Actually, I've just got a couple of jobs in to do, and then once they're out of the way, there's some pretty fun ones actually. Got some cages coming up. In fact, most of them are cages. I've got 3 cages to do. One's a prefab, and then the other 2 I'll be making them from scratch. But for the meantime, I've got to make this tip. So I have made one before, but I made it in the wrong size, so I'm doing it again. So it's a tri-tip exhaust. Tri-tip, exhaust tip, yeah, whatever. But yeah, they're going to come together like that. And what I did for these was I designed that in Fusion 360. And then I had one of my mates print it out for me. And it's saved a load of hassle, to be honest, because marking and measuring all that out by hand, you wouldn't have done it. Not accurately, anyway. And I mean, they're not the most accurate things in the world, but they'll get you somewhere close, and the rest you can do it, you know, with belt sander. So that's what we're on with at the minute. And then shortly, I've got something pretty fun coming in. Nice little job, which will, yeah, it'll be nice. I'm excited for that one. Should be good. So stick about, and we'll make some cool shit. And as easy as that, that's what you're left with. Is it a perfect cut? No, it's not. But no matter which way you're going to do it, you're going to end up with some trimming to do. So I'll throw that on, belt sand it, and that one. Getting looking something like that, you know. Dig out these edges, get it somewhere flat, somewhere close. Line them up. Hope she fits. there we have it. That's it for the tri-tip. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Hopefully the customer will be as well. See what they say. Can't see a problem with it. I'll once it's on the car, I'm not putting it on it is. So once it's on, I'll get him to send me some pictures and I'll try and throw them in the video if I get them in time, but if not, they'll be up on social medias and all that. That's it for that one thing. Now we get to go on to the fun stuff when it gets here. There it is, just like that. We have got a brand new, and when I say brand new, I mean literally brand spanking new. Never been on the road, just put together, whatever, I don't know. Mini. I think it's a Mark II. I could be wrong. The only thing I know is the Mark 1s have door hinges on the outside, and that one doesn't, so I don't know. It's a Mini, and I've got to fit a cage in it. And we also have this here now as well. I won't take the sheet off it. We'll save that for another day. But why don't you put in the comments what you think is under that. Give you a good look at it. Whatever you think that is, you let me know. This is a prefab one. That's me. Prefab. Yeah. Prefab by Safety Devices. And basically you get a box with all of the bent tubes in it. And you get this. That's all you get. Nothing's cut to length, nothing's notched. Oh, actually, the rear section is cut and notched. They're all the pipes that fit in the rear, the grey cross, and the harness bars as well in there. They're all notched. Whether they fit or not, I don't know. But pretty much, I've got to figure out where that cage was designed to fit. I've got no measurements of where the main hoop needs to go. I've got nothing, I've just got to figure it out. So I think I know where it goes, but my first thing to do is chop into a £12,000 brand new shell, because these side bins here, they're in the way. The cage is going to sit roughly here, like that, somewhere like that. So I need to get rid of this, because we're going to have a door bar that comes across, and then one that comes down and forward up to the front. So all that needs cutting out of the way, but I'm going to cut it as nicely as I can so that it goes back together nicely. Right, now we've got both of them sides cut out, we can see what we're doing. So, let me grab the tape and we'll go over to here. Right, what I've done is I've very loosely just thrown these together. So obviously that's the backstay, and then that's just the joining piece. So, in my theory, if that back leg is going to sit on the mounting point, we can measure and it'll give us roughly, because this should be vertical-ish. So centre to centre is about 15 1/4. So then we can go, oh, which way round do we go? Let's get in. So centre 15 1/4 is roughly where I've stuck that green piece of tape. So then again, that's roughly where that is. So I'll just have a bit of a better measure up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bang a hole through there and measure in the same on the other side. I'll probably, wherever I put my hole through, I'll measure back off here, because they should be the same, them two. But I'll double check, and then once they're cut and drilled, I can bring the main hoop in then and drop the main hoop through the holes, and then put the backstays in, and it should be in the right place. So the tube is 38mm. I'll have a look at my hole saws. I'll probably put something a bit bigger in, just give us a bit of wiggle room. After about 3-4 hours, finally got the cage through them holes. Yeah, that were a nightmare, to be honest. I think I can safely say I will never, ever fit a safety devices cage again, because it don't fit, basically. The corners between the two rooms, they're too far out. I don't get me wrong, you won't get them tight to the body, but not tight to the point that they don't fit. So yeah, the next bit now is I'm going to get this in place, but that sits roughly there. It wants shortening a bit, because if you look on the picture, it doesn't actually sit on the corner where it is, it sits a bit lower down. So we'll take a bit off it and sit it into where it needs to be. But the other thing I want to make sure is just put the joining piece in and see where that is. Yeah, we're pretty right. So the main hoop's in the right place, thank everyone, but not safety devices. So now that we know where that sits and that it's in the right place, I can actually just smash the rest of it out now, because that's the main point. Once you know where that sits, everything else falls in line as it should do per the design. So that's the main legwork done. Everything else, just throw it together. Now the fronts need cutting, but at least we have a point to measure to. Let's have a chat for a minute and talk about my actual plan of how I'm going to fit this thing, because there's a way around that it needs to be done. So nothing's actually in place. But basically, so that bar at the bottom, I went to put it in before and it was out. I should have measured the backstay space before, but I didn't, because apparently putting it in the middle of where it should go isn't the obvious thing to do, apparently. So I had to break the tacks off this, take it all apart, open the holes up, bring the bottoms in. Anyway, That's where it needs to be. But I've also just thrown that cross member in just to see how it all fits up. Now, my plans with cutting the holes and everything is so that when you're ready to do the welds on the top, you can drop the cage down through the holes and get all the way around the welds easily. But if I was to tack all this back section up, you won't be able to drop it through because there's things that are stopping it. So if we look at this, so the door bars, if you put your door bars on, then you can't drop it through. Same with that one, and the rear bar as well. They're not so much of a problem, them ones, because they sit a little bit higher up. You could drop them down a bit, but basically what I'm saying is these are all the last bits that need to go in. So there's no point in pressing on with this rear frame and getting it all tacked together when I'm going to have to cut it off at the tacks at the main hoop to drop the main hoop to do all the welding around the top of the front of the cage. So what I'm going to do instead is just forget about the back end. We know it's all in the right place. We know the main hoop's in the right place. Everything is where it should be. So we'll just press on with the front and we'll start doing the front section because we can get the legs on, the dash bar, windscreen bar and the roof cross in. Get all your sections, they can all get welded in. And then we can lift the cage back up then and we can push on from there and get everything else done. And I think that's the best way to go around it. And then once all that's back up in place then I can put the rear section to it and then start welding the rear section in, because there's not really anything that I won't be able to get onto, because obviously there's no windows in it, so I can get around through all the windows and everything. This one up here, that's probably going to be the worst one, but it's not a problem really, is it? We'll soon manage it. The other thing I want to talk about is this safety device's cages. This cage in particular, I can't speak for other ones, but this is just wank. It's sold as a prefab cage, and I've already put more time into this than what I would do if I was just to make my own. It's ridiculous. I don't understand how they can get away with selling something like this. It's daft. Like even things like the notches, so that main hoop's where it needs to be, that rear stays where it needs to be. Everything is where it should be, and you can't get it in any other different orientation. Yet for some reason, look at that fit up on there. It's just disgusting. There's a good half inch there. I don't see how you can get it so wrong and still sell it as a prefab cage, because it's not. You might as well have just started from scratch on my own, and then it wouldn't have taken me so long to get the main hoop in, because I could have just measured from where I wanted it to be, instead of having to find out where it needs to be and where they've designed it from. But hey, that's my opinion. I don't think I'll be doing another one, but we live and learn. That one. So that's going to sit in there like that, and you'd assume that the tube's going to sit dead centre on that pad. But before I make any assumptions, I'm going to measure it, because who bloody knows with this cage. So that's my next bit. Cut a hole in it, then I can drop the leg through and get it roughly in place, and I can cut and notch it into here then. So that is more or less as far as we're going to get for this part of it anyway. So I can't, if we come over here, jump over all my wires. So I can't weld this piece in until that's fully welded up, because otherwise, well, you can't weld the inside of that, and obviously you'll have half a joint with no weld on, and that's a big no-no. So where I'm at now, what I'm going to do now that I've got everything relatively, well, no, it is where I want it. That's where it's staying. It's where it is. It's where it's staying. What I'm going to do now is go around and tack it some more, just in wherever I can get to. It'll have a tack on it, just to make sure it all stays where it needs to be. And then I'll take all my clamps out, I'll drop the frame down, weld. I can weld all of it, really. Nothing's going to move now, that's where it's all staying. So I can weld all of it, really. And then tack and weld in me cross section up at the top. And then the other thing that needs to go in, wherever they are, I think they're over there, there is these triangle sections there, just their ones. And then, so yeah, that's more or less this whole front frame done. Bar the door bars, they can't go in till last. I'm probably not going to bother with them till later on. That's going to go in last. Yeah, moving on to the back section soon. So, let's get welding. There we have it. Got that top section all done. That's as much welding as we're going to do for now. The rest of it will come in back section of the cage, door bars, And then the front legs, they've got to go on as well. And that's it. Bob's your uncle. But we'll save the rest of that for another video. I'll get it all finished off in the next video. But thank you very much for watching along. I do really appreciate it. You know, put in the comments what you're thinking. I'd like to hear off you. You know, positive, negative, whatever. Just let me know. You know, I want to make these videos that you can enjoy. I don't want to just throw my time into them and, you know, no one likes them. So anything you want to say, please let me know. Put it in the bottom. And, yeah, come back for the next one. We'll get this cage finished off. Thank you.